Alright, in the last video this is where I left you, and you should have actually gone through and completed those activities for at least 3 of them. The more practice you have, the better. The one thing that I do want you to do is we're actually going to move on to one last thing, and it's called item count. And I actually want to put it right underneath to find out how many items I have at any one time, rather than having to go 1, 2, 3, etc. That's going to take me a while. So I'm going to get Excel to do that for me. I'm going to get Excel to count the items. But I want it to go right here underneath, just like this white box has kind of done that. I want that there. So to do that, I need space between this row and this row. So I need to insert a row. So I'm just going to select the row beneath the one that I want to have selected, right click and go insert, and that will insert a brand new row and push everything else down, which is exactly what I wanted. I'm going to come in and type in item count, and just because it does kind of go across, let's just drag that across a bit. And again, I'm just going to use some basic colors here. Let's go through and color that whole cell. Fix that one up. And you can actually see that I'm actually taking just a little bit of time going through and making this work. So you can see that there is kind of, we could merge those cells. I'm not really worried about that. Same with that one. And the item count, I'm just going to right align it. Unfortunately, that one there needs to have that box around it. So it's got that outside border now, but it's still green. So I need to change that back. Now I could change it to no fill and I could change it to white. And there is a slight difference between the two. Generally speaking, you won't really notice it unless you're doing big colourful dashboards, which is what we'll look at way down the track. So for the moment, just make sure you click no fill. Try not to use that white and get into that habit. It is a bad habit to have if you don't want it coloured. So going down the line, you have item count, and we got that. So just like with the other ones, how we had equals average and equals sum, this one is very simple and it says equals count. And again, there's a number of counts. It says counts the number of cells in a range that contains numbers. That's what we want. So we could actually go through and try that. Let's try it. So open, and let's click and drag, close our bracket, and go through. Now, why does that actually say 0? Well, we do have a number of items, and we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 items roughly. But it says 0. And the problem with that is in regards to what we've got. So just for the moment, I'm just going to copy just that section of the table. I no longer need that, so let's delete that and paste over here. Let's try that copy paste again. That didn't work. There we go. So one of the things that we actually have is we actually typed in equals count. That didn't work for us. So let's try again. Equals count. And let's have a look at these other ones. So we've got count, and it says count the number of cells in a range that contains numbers. Well, there's my problem. It doesn't have numbers in it. If I was to replace all these with numbers, you can actually see every number I have. I have 3 numbers, so it's counted 3. It doesn't add them, it doesn't subtract them, it doesn't do anything, it just counts that there's 3 different numbers. But I don't want to know that. They're actual items, they're in string. So what we'll do is we'll go equals count, and let's actually, you could use the mouse, but it's easy to just use the up and down keys. So range that contains numbers. If we press down, it says count A. Counts the number of cells in a range that are not empty. So if it's not empty, that could work for us. So I hit enter a little bit too early, so equals count, and again we're going to use that A1, and we're going to open our bracket just like normal. It says value 1 just like normal. I'm going to click and drag my cell reference. Again, it's all the same stuff. Close my bracket and hit enter. Well, that's given me that value of 8, so that does work. But let's keep on going through and see if there's a better one for us. So we've got count A, counts if it's not empty. The next one counts the number of empty cells. So these two are exact opposites of each other. The next one says counts the number of cells within a range that meet the given condition. So that's starting to get into a bit more logic and some more advanced functions. And same with if S as well. So with these two, we will actually get them. They are the better ones to use. But for now, we'll just use count A because that's what we're actually wanting. So I'll come over here and let's just place count A in the front there, hit enter, and that's updated. And from here, I'm now going to just delete that data, clear my cells, and clear my borders as well. So that's cleared that up. So I've now got my item count. If I was to come in and delete, let's just say coffee. Oh no, let's just go scissors because that's the most expensive one at the moment. You can actually see that that updates everything. And if I was to come back and add, let's just say USB, it adds 8. And once I add the cost of that item, and let's just say that cost of the item is $5.85, it will actually update that one. I'm only going to get 3 of those, and it automatically calculates some of those cells. So what I would like you to do is on these ones that you have here, I would like you to come down and do a count for each one of these. You could use count, you could use count A, because again these are just numbers. So as I get an example, I'm just going to format my cells just so it's got a top and bottom border, and go equals count. Again, I can use just count by itself, or I could use count A. The reason why I can use count this time is because all these are numbers. So I'm just going to use count this time, open my bracket, close, done. And it counts that there's 5 numbers. If I was to delete one of those numbers, it updates everything for me. If I was to re-add something, it goes like that. Again, format it your way, get it all pretty, and get these over to those other examples that I've asked you to complete. Once you've done that, save your workbook and make sure you're saving it properly. And once you've done that, that is the end of the introduction to Excel functions. The final thing that we didn't really touch on, we will be looking at cross worksheet functions. So just how we actually did, just to re-jog your memory, just how we got our drink bottle and we went equals. So if I was to do it again, equals, I click the spreadsheet, or the worksheet, sorry, and then I was to come down and click the next cell and hit enter, it types that in for me. You can actually do that in between worksheets as well, or workbooks as well. So you can actually go through and have 2 workbooks open, click to the other workbook and get that working as well. But this here, this particular one is known as worksheet, cross worksheet functionality. It works between different worksheets. In our next lot of videos, we'll be looking at formatting.